Who is Elisa Lam? Elisa Lam was a 21-year-old Chinese college student living in Vancouver, Canada. A student at UBC, University of British Columbia, Lam had taken a solo trip to California in early 2013. She chose to stay at the Cecil Hotel, later renamed Stay on Main, in Los Angeles. Lam was completely naked when her body was found, and her clothes were next to her in the water. The Los Angeles Medical Examiner's Office released an autopsy report 4 months later, stating that there was no evidence of physical trauma and that the manner of death was accidental. Those staying at the Cecil at the time sued the hotel over the incident. Lam's parents also filed a separate lawsuit later that year. The second lawsuit was dismissed in 2015. Elisa Lam, the daughter of a family who emigrated from Hong Kong, is a student at the University of British Columbia, but she was not registered at the university at the beginning of 2013. In mid-2010, Lam started a blog on Blogspot called Ether Fields. For 2 years, she published fashion-related visuals, as well as articles about her life, especially about the mental disorders she experienced. In a January 2012 post titled, "The Thought of Wasting Your Life Never Leaves You," quoting Chuck Palahniuk, he mentioned that he had to stop several classes at the beginning of the academic semester due to a relapse of his ailments and felt completely lost. Lam was worried that her grades were dropping, which would negatively affect her education and lead to her inability to pursue graduate studies. More than 2 years after she started blogging, Elisa announced that she would be leaving her blog for another blog, Nouvelle Nouveau, which she started on Tumblr. Its content consisted mostly of fashion photos, quoted lyrics, and Lam's own words. Elisa Lam had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression. According to her relatives, Elisa had no suicidal thoughts or attempts in her past, but she had a report indicating that she had disappeared before. Elisa Lam traveled alone on Amtrak and Intercity buses on her trip to California and checked into the Cecil Hotel near Skid Row in downtown on January 26th, 2 days after she reached Los Angeles. Lam was initially assigned a shared room on the 5th floor of the hotel. According to the hotel lawyer, the roommates had complained about Lam's certain strange behavior. Because of this, Lam moved into her own private room 2 days later. The Cecil Hotel is a hotel that opened in 1924 in Los Angeles, California. It is located on Main Street in downtown Los Angeles. The hotel was originally built to serve businessmen and tourists. Cecil Hotel, which has 19 floors, has a total capacity of 700 rooms. The early years and the bright period in the late 1920s and early 1930s, the Cecil Hotel was a popular accommodation destination due to its proximity to the thriving business center of Los Angeles. However, with the Great Depression period, the hotel's reputation and customer profile also began to change. Dark period and loss of reputation. Over time, the Cecil Hotel became a shelter for the homeless, low-income people and those looking for temporary accommodation, especially due to its proximity to the area known as Skid Row. The area around the hotel is known as an area with high crime rates. The Cecil Hotel has been associated with many tragic events and crimes over the years, some of which are death and suicides, Elizabeth Short, Black Dahlia, serial killers. Elisa Lam is the case. The Cecil Hotel is both an interesting and eerie part of the history of Los Angeles. The hotel's bad reputation has been shaped by tragic events and crimes over the years. Even today, the Cecil Hotel continues to be remembered with fear and mystery. Elisa had been in contact with her family in British Columbia every day during her trip. When her parents did not hear from Elisa, who had planned to leave Cecil and go to Santa Cruz on February 1st, 2013, she called the Los Angeles Police Department, LAPD. His family also flew to Los Angeles to help with the search. The hotel staff who saw Elisa Lam that day said that she was alone. Katie Orphan, the manager of a nearby bookstore outside the hotel, was the only person who remembered seeing him that day. He was very full of life and friendly to Lam, who bought gifts to take to her family, Orphan told CNN. Orphan also was talking about what book he was getting and whether what he was getting would be too heavy for him to carry with him when he travels, he added. The police had started searching the hotel. With the help of dogs, the police searched Elisa's room, many places, including the roof of the hotel. But the dogs could not detect his smell. Because there was no suspicion that a crime had been committed, the police had not searched all the rooms. A week after Elisa was last seen, February 6th, the LAPD decided that they needed more help. Flyers with Elisa's picture were shared in the neighborhood and on the internet. In addition, the police brought the case to public attention through the media. The Los Angeles Police Department released the video of Elisa Lam's awkward moments in a hotel elevator in February. Acting quite strangely, Elisa was talking to invisible people in the elevator, looking around the corner of the door, crouching and hiding. There were theories about Elisa's behavior, such as a psychotic episode, a demonic plague, an out-of-sight attacker. At that time, hotel guests reported that there was something strange in the water supply of the Cecil Hotel. There were complaints that the shower was terrible. The water flowed black at first and then returned to normal. I was also told that the taste of the water was very strange, sweet, and nauseating. On February 19th, a hotel employee went up to the roof to check the hotel's water tanks. It was here that they found Lam's decomposed naked body, whose personal belongings were nearby. On the other hand, there is no image of Elisa after she left the elevator, so he somehow got on the roof, got into the water tank. The lid closed on him and drowned. Although the tank has a metal latch that can be opened according to the authorities, access to the roof is provided by an alarm and a lock. Also, many people think that it is impossible to close the lid, especially by a weak woman like Elisa. As a result of the investigation, it was determined how Elisa Lam died, but at first no explanation was given as to how she got into the tank. The doors and stairs leading to the roof of the hotel were locked, passwords and keys were only available to the staff, and any attempt to force the doors was supposed to trigger an alarm. It was said that Elisa may have circumvented these security measures by using the hotel's fire exit. A Chinese user posted a video on the internet after Elisa's death. The video showed that the roof of the hotel was easily accessible via a fire escape, and the lid of 2 water tanks was open. In addition to the question of how he got on the roof, he was also asked if he could get into the tank on his own. 4 cylindrical tanks measuring 1.2 by 2.4 m were placed on concrete blocks. There was no direct access to these, and hotel employees were using ladders to peer into the water. The tanks were protected by heavy hatches, which were difficult to move from the inside. The hotel employee who found the body had answered the question of how he could have closed the lid from the inside by saying that the lid was open at the time. Police dogs that participated in searches of the hotel and the roof after she disappeared had not found any trace of Elisa. Various theories have also been put forward about the elevator video. Some claimed that Elisa was trying to hide from someone who was following her, while others claimed that Elisa was disappointed because the elevator was malfunctioning. Some people who argued that they were under the influence of illegal drugs did not change their minds, although a toxicology scan came back clean Yule. They suggested that these substances may have disintegrated during the time her body decomposed in the tank, or that Elisa may have rarely taken these substances. The very low level of prescription drugs in Elisa's body and the amount of pills left in the medicine bottle indicated that Elisa was either taking insufficient medication or had recently stopped taking her medications. This could have led to a psychotic episode. Elisa's autopsy report also began to be questioned on the grounds that there was incomplete information. For example, they were not told what the results of the evidence obtained from the rape symptom and the fingernail were, or whether they had been processed. Some observers noted a subcutaneous accumulation of blood in Elisa's anal area, suggesting that this was a sign of sexual abuse, but a pathologist noted that this may have been caused by bloating during the decomposition of the body and her rectum sagged. Some forensic experts seemed ambivalent about concluding that Elisa's death was an accident. It is possible that the Tumblr blog will continue to be updated after his death with the Tumblr's queue option, which allows posts to be automatically published while the user is away. His phone was not found near his body or in his hotel room. It was thought to have been stolen at the time of his death. It is not known whether the ongoing updates to his blog are the work of a hacker or were carried out through Tumblr's queue. It is also unknown whether the updates are related to his death.